Exactly 1 year after the death of Eric Garner, we'll look back at the changes that have been made and look forward at what more needs to be done. Then a report from Chattanooga with new information about the man who killed 4 Marines yesterday. We'll explain why the FBI is considering this incident terrorism, and I'll explain why I think it should be considered terrorism, but not for the reasons you may think. Also, a trip to Pluto, 3 billion miles, 10 years, but was it worth it? We'll ask a local guy who studies space for a living. Good evening and welcome to RFL. I'm Andrew Whitman, in again tonight for Richard French, and we begin with Eric Garner. His family and friends visited the spot where he died today and released a dove to pay tribute. And tomorrow, the Reverend Al Sharpton will lead a rally in downtown Brooklyn to demand justice. Our Dominic Carter sat down with Garner's mother this week, and she explained what the family is demanding.
Justice will be when everyone who was involved in my son's death that day stands accountable for their misconduct that day. And then I'll feel that justice has been served.
So 1 year after the death of Eric Garner, let's get some perspective from our panel. We're joined tonight by TJ McCormick, who is a Republican consultant, Dominic Carter, who conducted that interview. He's a political journalist and author, and Richard St. Paul, a Republican strategist and former vice chair for the National Black Republican Association. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Dominic, let's start with you. How do you think New York City or other police-involved relations have changed in the year since the passing of Eric Garner?
Well, one, I think credit has to go to Mayor de Blasio and Police Commissioner Bratton because the temperature has been lowered. I think that there is a perception amongst the communities of New York City that the department is really trying to better the relationship. You look at the numbers that have gone down with stop and frisk, you look at the dialogue that exists. Now the bad news is that, Andrew, it only takes one incident to spark this all up again. But I think that there's been definite improvement, and I think the community is aware of the fact that the mayor and the controller, that they settled this case before it had to go to an actual lawsuit.
You said that the NYPD has been trying to lower or improve relationships with the community. Do you think they've succeeded?
I think that it's a work in progress, but I definitely think that we have to tip our hat. They're trying to increase minority officers on the job. The department is aggressively trying to work with the community, and that's a good thing.
Richard, do you think that approach has helped overall New York City, or is there another side to that coin where perhaps it risks imperiling the rest of the city?
Right. I mean, look. In the past year, you've had several things happen. You've had the New York City Council and Mayor provide a Inspector General in the New York City Police Department, that's never happened before, to complain about police officers and investigate complaints from police officers, in addition to the Civilian Complaint Review Board. So now there's 2 layers to report misconduct from police officers. Also, the City Council has given citizens the right to sue for racial profiling. In addition to that, the governor has signed an executive order that allows the state attorney general to investigate unarmed civilian deaths by the hands of police officers. So what I think here is there's a delicate balance that between keeping the morale up of police officers to do their job and protecting the public. And there's always a problem, as we heard recently, where we're seeing that crime is on the rise in New York City. And is that because police officers aren't going out and cracking down on those broken window crimes, or is that because something else?
In total, though, do you think the city's in a better position than it was a year ago when it comes to policing and safety and also community relations?
No, I think we're not there yet. We're definitely not there.
We're worse off than we were the day Eric Garner died.
We are about the same. We're about the same because there's still a rift. I mean, it's only been 1 year since we've had 20, 30,000 people walking down the street protesting the death of Eric Garner. So there's a lot more healing that needs to be done. And also, remember that the police officers are being retrained, and that hasn't happened yet also. TJ,
you agree that the city's the same as it was a year ago? Do you think it's better or worse?
I think it might be a little worse, just simply the fact that crime is up. You know, and quite frankly, you know, the delicate balance that Rich was talking about, you know, we have to watch how we operate, and and we have to err on the side of respecting police. And it was just a few weeks ago that Baltimore was on fire, and at the same time we've seen innocents killed in South Carolina. We saw that, man. Everybody saw that videotape of that guy running away, being shot in the back.
Yeah, but that's
So
Baltimore and that's South Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, New York City's a different animal.
But New York City sneezes, America catches a cold. Okay, so it's a national dialogue here, and it starts in New York City, and so no, I don't think things are necessarily better.
In Dominic's
Things are better. I've been covering this for 30 years. Things are definitely better. I mean, but again,
crime is up.
Okay, but that's not even exactly accurate. Both of you guys have said that in two categories, I believe, murder and one other one.
That's pretty big.
Wait, hold on. It's up a little bit. But as Bratton pointed out to us, we were only talking about not one is one too many, a murder. But it's only up
Unless it's your statistic.
No, it's only up by 15 murders. But more importantly, the NYPD is still on track for crime to come in at a record low. So while we go around with these alarmist theories, let's put it in perspective. And I just, TJ, I don't understand when you say we got to err on siding with respecting the police. What does that mean for communities of color?
It means they should respect the people who are out there
That's
risking their lives to
right.
protect
We
them
agree
as
with
well.
that, but
Yeah.
that's not a two-way street.
It's absolutely a two-way street.
Okay, but I
think
didn't hear
when
a
push
two-way
comes
street.
when push comes to shove, we have to make sure that the rhetoric doesn't ratchet up those people that start off every day already in danger.
But it does. I think Dominic's got a point. It does work the other way too. That the police department have to show greater respect for the communities of color if they want the respect back from those communities as well.
Everybody has to show respect, period.
Yeah.
Police officers show respect. I mean, they're doing a dangerous job. So people have to understand police perspectives also, that when a police officer tells you put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest.
Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Right. And then
Cops.
and then at the end of the day, you resolve it. There's ways to resolve it through civil litigation, but the respect has to be there both ways.
Very quickly, I want to go around the table. Dominic, when you interviewed Garner's mother, she said justice won't come until Officer Pantaleo and everybody involved has been prosecuted. Do you think that a federal prosecution, do you think another level of prosecution is required for justice in this case?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, there's no look. We have two different levels of government prosecution: state and federal prosecution. Certainly, if the civil rights of Eric Garner were violated intentionally, which is a harder burden to prove on the federal level, certainly that should be looked at.
TJ, is that what it takes for justice?
I guess. I mean, we're still answering these questions. There's still, it's still a controversial issue about, special prosecutors. I don't know. I think the jury's still out. Certainly for me, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on that.
Dominic?
My guess is that the feds will take this case on. I could be wrong. The threshold is much higher.
But I'm curious, is it your sense that there won't be justice in this case unless that prosecution happens?
Right. How do you define justice?
We each sort of decide what our sense of justice is.
Him being fired, him being arrested.
There are some people that would argue justice has already prevailed with no indictment of the officer.
I tell you what. We have a better chance of finding out and defining what justice is in this case. The further Al Sharpton is kept from it, because he is just going to continue to muddy the waters.
What does Al Sharpton?
He's a vile human being.
It doesn't really have.
Al Sharpton.
I'm just kidding.
What?
I mean,
what?
well, Eric Garner's daughter did say he was out for money. So
wait.
I'm not going to sit here. I will never sit here and ever legitimize Al Sharpton.
I am not Mr. Sharpton's apologist, but he did make a good point. He said when something happens, the PBA comes in with millions of dollars to teach the officer how to handle interviews, to teach the officer what not to say, to make sure the officer is not indicted, and yet the family members have nothing. Do you think that's a fair scale?
There's other very good people who could advocate, not a Sharpton.
But here's my question. But why are some people so upset because it's Sharpton?
Because he's ruined lives, and he's lied, and he's used people to ruin other
who's
people.
acceptable?
He's disgusting.
So who's acceptable? Who's acceptable? And I didn't know
Richard
that.
St. Paul.
And I didn't know
Thank you.
that
Call me.
you.
Sincerely.
I did not know that you and others get to judge who are the leaders of the black community.
Well, he actually Al
Because
Sharpton's been judged. He has yet to pay on that
based on
judgment.
polling,
as far as I know,
he did
Counselor?
pay. He did pay those judgments.
Okay.
Based on polling, he is
He's
one
done.
of.
No,
he
no,
is
somebody else paid
based
for those
on
judgments
polling.
for him.
Okay, but the judgments were paid.
Last word, Dom.
Based on polling amongst African Americans, they see Sharpton as a major leader.
Look, for
No.
Sharp-
I gotta
Okay,
stop
all
it here
right.
for time. And we got a little bit off our topic, but that was an interesting.
Good television.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, the FBI is investigating the Chattanooga shootings as an act of terrorism. We'll get a report from the scene with the latest information.